Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Treg TV. I'm Scot Hazard.
And I'm Dan Ford, and together we sell homes for happy clients along the Wasatch Front.
Hey, today what we wanted to do is do the first of several videos talking about the short sale process. A lot of folks in trouble these days. Slow economy, underemployment, unemployment, and people need solutions on, well, what do I do with my house if I can no longer afford to make the payment? So Dan, let's talk about some options.
Well, the first thing you can do with foreclosure is do nothing, obviously, and just let it go to foreclosure. This is the worst for your credit. It's the worst for employment or anybody else who will ever check your credit in the future, and for buying a home in the future.
Yeah, another option is you can pay off the loan. Most folks aren't in that position, or you might be able to refinance the loan, which will also pay it off. Chances are that if you're underemployed, unemployed, don't have the money to continue to stay in the home, it might be difficult for you to qualify to refinance the loan, but it is an option.
The other one is a reinstatement. What this means is that you're going to catch up on your payments. Before you make a catch up on your payment, though, make sure you contact your lender, because if they've already commenced the foreclosure proceedings, you want to make sure that they're on the same page with you and they know you're trying to reinstate the loan.
So just some options on reinstatement. Say I'm behind 4 months and my payment's $1,500 a month, so I owe the bank $6,000 to catch all the way up. Do I have to come in with cash?
It depends. Talk to the lender. Talk to them. Most of them are willing to work out terms with you. If they know you're trying to do it and you can make an initial deposit and a payment with them, they will work with you typically.
Okay, so that brings us to our next option, which is a loan modification. Let's say, for example, I owe that $6,000, but where am I going to come up with $6,000 to catch up on that loan? I can modify the loan. I can add the $6,000 to my principal amount of my loan balance and not have to pay it in cash. I still owe it, but I don't have to owe it today. I'm no longer delinquent, and I can continue to make my regular payment as I did before.
Now, will they ever mess with your interest rate when you do that?
Sometimes you do. There's a lot of great federal programs out there. HAFA, which is Home Affordable Foreclosure Alternative, has a number of different programs that are underneath it that will allow you to modify your interest rate. You can extend your amortization period, and you can lower your payment significantly. I've got a gal in my neighborhood just recently applied to that program. I helped her through this process. She's lowered her payment from $1,800 a month down to $1,140 a month.
Wow.
By participating in this refinance program. Now let me tell you about loan modifications. Difficult to do. I recently read a statistic that only 2% of loan modifications are successful and stick with longevity. So it's right for some people, but for the most part, you've seen some horror stories on the news. Only 2% are truly successful and really stick. A lot of folks get into the program, but not everybody fits. At the end of the day, it's not a successful thing.
Now, another thing that the state of Utah will allow you to do is called a deed in lieu of foreclosure. That's where you go to the bank and say, look, I don't have the money, I can't pay you, but I'm going to hand you the deed. You will own the property from now on. Banks are doing this less and less right now. However, it does happen, and it's worth talking to your bank about.
Another option is you can file bankruptcy. Bankruptcy would relieve you from the obligation of the debt if you included the home and the home loan in your bankruptcy. Can also stall foreclosure, and that's kind of a little bit more detailed area, and if anybody wanted some additional information, that's probably a whole different segment all on its own.
Yeah, it's a good idea to talk to an attorney about that, because there are several types of bankruptcy too, and some affect you differently. And then finally, which is why we're doing this series, is there is a short sale, which is another option where you can actually sell the property to satisfy the amount that you owe to the bank. And we're going to talk more about short sales later, and talk about why it's such a great option right now in the state of Utah.
Now, just so you know, we use that lingo, short sale. Why is it called a short sale? Well, it's because you're going to sell the home and you're going to come up short to be able to pay off that lender. That's how it got the nickname short sale. The lender comes up short to pay off all that you owe. And there's some details about how to handle a short sale, how to make it successful, how to make sure that you're protected. And those are some of the things that we want to share in the balance of the video. So, guys, we hope that's been helpful. These are some alternatives to foreclosure. If you find yourself in trouble, just know that there's a lot of options. And what you need is a professional who's experienced in the industry to help you navigate and walk through those options. Wouldn't you say, Dan?
Exactly. The only times I've seen people in I shouldn't say the only times, but some of the biggest problems I've dealt with were when people didn't consult with somebody who knew what they were talking about.
Yeah. A lot of bad advice out there. Make sure you're getting good advice. We're the guys that can give you good advice. I'm Scot Hazard.
I'm Dan Ford, and together we sell homes for happy clients along the Wasatch Front.
See you in a little bit for episode 2.